Hello, welcome to Truth Runs Deep podcast. I'm Taryn,
I'm Callie.
and we're here to talk about all things Law and Order, SVU, the original. What did I forget? SVU, Organized Crime, Fanfic Writing. There you go. Yeah, I said Law and Order, and that's what I was counting. Anyway,
Well,
fanfic writing and more. Um, we're here on it's episode day, and we're running a little late on schedule, but that's okay. This happens.
I have
We're
had
life is
work
life,
and
and
life, and yeah, we're finally here. And I'm
life
half
is life.
sick, but we're here.
Life is life, and yeah,
Life-
I'm on summer break, so I'm back in my house.
I have one more day. One more day. All my assignments are due tomorrow night at 11:59, and I have um half of one left and another paper and like another small thing, and then I'm done and going to sleep a lot.
It's good. And now that I've gotten older, nap time has been crucial to my survival of the day.
Same.
Like when you're little, you're like, I hate nap time. No, when you get to be
I don't
in your
abs
20s, when you're in your
absolutely
20s, you'd be like, nap time is required. Anyway, I feel like nap time is approaching, but we have stuff to do. So so here we
not.
are. So we are talking about episodes 19 of the series. So we have three more. Well, after tonight, it'll be two more. And we're really excited for the next two. We'll talk about that we won't be in this episode because we won't see anything. Anyway, so Law and Order is called Private Lives. So at the beginning, a politician and her manager are coming to her house. She's going home for the night, and she sees a dead body, and it's Orion Martell, who is her husband. He's dead.
And he's a doctor.
He's a doctor. Yes, yeah. He's dead. He's been hit. I think he's hit with a lamp or something like that, but he's dead.
Yeah,
They've been
they've
married
been
15 years.
juniors.
So they must be in love with him for 15 years anyway. But we find out that like she's like a conservative, she's on the right, and she's been getting like threats and stuff for because she lives in New York. So New York is more left leaning than right leaning,
Um,
so she feels straight. Anyway, I live in the South, people act the opposite way. So anyway,
uh,
uh
Cosgrove
yeah,
and Shaw do some
yeah.
investigating, and they find out the message was sent by a drag queen,
Mm.
um, or a man who does drag queen story
Like
time,
there's like yeah, there's drag queen story time
which
for
is
kids as well.
literally pulled directly from the headlines because
Oh yeah,
that's
that
what's
did
happening right now.
it just happened.
Um, Bartel wanted to introduce a bill banning kids from seeing drag.
Which is actually happening in some
It is
places.
actually happening, like drag queen story times, drag queen things. There's a bill in Tennessee that is, um, I believe, got passed that
Might have, I don't
banned it.
I should know these things. Alabama expert is similar. I should know these things, but anyway.
And Shaw makes the point, it says, isn't drag more of an adult thing? And the guy explains, no, like drag is just another way to like express
It's,
yourselves, and the
yeah.
kids really love it.
Hmm.
Um, but here's my thing.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's not hurting anybody. If the
Yeah.
kids
Exactly.
like
It's not hurting
like
anybody.
drag is a happy, usually a happy,
Yeah.
expressive,
Hmm. It's really
um,
cool.
colorful experience. Like,
Hmm.
and for adults, maybe it gets a little like,
It can be more adult, but
thank you,
overall, I
thank
couldn't
you,
think of how to describe it either, but it can be more
word.
adult. But
But
for
for
kids, I mean,
kids,
it's
like, it's
just
okay. It's
very,
just like another person reading them a story who just happens to be wearing a bright colored dress and wig and everything. Like,
yeah,
um, it's not a horrible thing.
exactly.
But the guy was like, yeah, I sent the message. I wanted her to hear it. Um, but he is not the person who did this. They just
Hmm.
did that to like
throw us off the trail. It has to take some
Get
time. You
the
can't just catch the person
get the
immediately.
point across that this is the kind of person that the woman is, and now they have to figure out why the husband is
Dead.
dead.
Got murdered. Dead. So the next
We
thing,
they get
there's
do some
a
more
little
investigation.
chasing. Not a
Bad
big
guy. We
chasing.
almost get another chase scene,
Not this time. Not yet.
but
No.
Cosgrove grabs the guy and like pushes him up against a shelf, and
Mm-hmm.
they arrest him and they bring him
Mm-hmm.
in. They interrogate the guy, and I don't remember what they said, but it's not him. So,
Yeah, basically that's nothing.
or- um,
So
we
then
find the
they go
doctor.
like do the tech stuff. They go through his like security and his
Yeah,
calendars. The
and he
next thing. Hold on.
deactivated it.
Right.
Um, and
So he had,
then
but then like they looked at his calendar, like he had some security deactivated, and then he had like they had was like TM, which it didn't have a meaning really at the moment. They had to figure that out. They're trying to figure out what that means. But then they like look at the videotape of his home security, and they see that it's a boy, maybe like 11 or 12. I think they maybe say how old he is. I'm saying he for the moment because we're gonna get there in a
we'll
bit.
get to that. We'll get to that.
Um, that's to 11 or 12 maybe. They weren't exactly, but like
And it had
puberty
on
age.
his calendar there was a little like initials and it said TM. So they
Yeah,
had to figure out what that was. They had
yeah.
TM, the security footage, and they have to go
Mm,
find the kid. So
mm-hmm.
they go to this middle school and they
Yeah.
find out the TM is
Taylor
Taylor
Mo-
Myers. They're in the 7th grade and
How old are you in 7th grade? 12, 13. Yeah, 12,
they
10,
have
13.
health issue. They had mental health issues that kept them out of school
Mm-hmm.
for a long time the previous year. So they are repeating the grade.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Cosgrove and Shaw carefully try to approach him. Um,
Mm-hmm.
as soon as Taylor sees them, they run.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they have their head down. They aren't looking at anything. They run into the street, and Shaw has to pull them back to save
Mm-hmm.
being
Being
hit
hit
by a
by a
car.
car.
Uh,
Yeah, so then they sit down and they talk
and
um
with Taylor and their parents, and they find out that Taylor went to like see the school counselor.
mm-hmm.
Um, Actually, no, first they were like, "Why were you with the doctor?"
Mm-hmm.
And Shaw was very good at this. He's like, if this person hurt you at all, you can tell us. It's okay. It's not
Yeah.
your fault.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a very good, gentle bedside manner.
Yeah.
Uh, and
And
there's like
then
insistent like this. The doctor didn't hurt me.
yeah.
So they do some digging. They say that Taylor was at the school guidance counselor. They
Yeah.
go to talk to the
This, this
counselor. Counselor,
they
uh,
find out she's Ryan's sister.
yeah, it's Ryan's sister.
Until
So it's a
yeah.
family thing.
Yeah.
Didn't
This is
see.
important, so keep it in your back pocket, everyone.
Yeah, yeah, that's important. School counselor is Ryan's sister. She says that she didn't see um Taylor that day,
Mm-hmm.
and she makes the point that um because they were worried that the doctor was not molesting Taylor. She says Ryan wasn't molesting Taylor, he was treating her.
Yeah, and they were like, "What?
And then Sean
Um,
Carsgrove were like, her,
what do you
her.
mean?"
Something working.
We find out that Taylor is trans, but Taylor's parents refuse to let her transition. So the doctor has been giving Ryan Bartell's been giving her hormone replacement medication because kind of like in the secret is what's been kind of going on in the background. So then they go to I think they go to where did they go? I don't remember. But anyway, Taylor's dad, who's Robert, is arrested because I think they go to Taylor's house to like talk to Taylor or Taylor's family. because he has like scars on his arm, so that was suspicious. So they arrested him. So but then but then the detectives realized there's kind of this conflict going on because uh the congresswoman, she wants to ban drag queens, but then her husband is helping um trans affirming care for Taylor. So it's kind of this like conflict going on. So they're kind of like, what is going on? What is happening? And then next they go talk to Nolan and Sam because that's what they do in the show. Got to get to the law part. I mean, the order, whatever. Anyway, what am I saying? I'm just rambling. I had ice cream, okay? So they're talking to Sam and Nolan, and of course they use proper pronouns for Taylor saying she instead of he, which is very important stuff because that's very the right thing. You know, the parents kept saying he, but they were saying she. And the dad was getting frustrated because they kept saying she for Taylor instead of he for Taylor because I have a son, not a daughter. And they find out the dad has a temper and he gets really angry. Um, and then they go to draw. And then Nolan makes his opening argument, which he says, I understand that the use of this medication might not sit right with everyone, and we are entitled to our own opinions, but the medication is safe and necessary. Because some people don't think hormones are dangerous, but like when you think about it, even straight people use hormones. Well, not straight people, wrong term. Uh, people who are accepting of the gender. That's not what I'm looking for. What is the word I'm looking for? Hetero. Anyway, you know what I mean. Even people who are because people use like estrogen. I mean, even if sometimes you need women use estrogen to get more hormonal uses for like produce more eggs and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily gender affirming care is for all people, not just people who are non-binary or transgender. Um, okay, so the defense makes their argument saying that like Ron Bartel was preying on a confused child because this defense is making the argument that like being trans is not being confused or like not a real thing, sort of. And Sam sees this and is getting frustrated. And then what's my- and they said that the victim, Dr. Bertel, had blood in his fingernails, and that's why there's scratch marks on the bed. And the wife, Susan, she left town because they were like, "Where did she go? You would think she would be here if her husband was killed and you'd be at his trial, but she had like left." But the wife knew what was happening, and she ends up telling Nolan and Sam that like she heard the fight between Robert and Ryan. That she was there, but like she didn't want to testify at the moment. So then she comes Nolan with his sleeves rolled up. We love a man with rolled up sleeves. Says, "Is your career that important? Is it really worth letting the man who killed your husband walk free?" Oh yeah. The lawyer is also okay. This is also repeat offender Delia Wilson. I don't really know what that means, but I know who that is. But like, anyway, Callie kind of disappeared for a second, so I'm kind of going on my own here. And they're kind of talking about this. My spot. I'm not. The lawyer is also a repeat offender.
Where did I put my phone? Sorry, I had to go take care of something, but I'm back.
Okay, so we're at. You wrote. I think you wrote this. The lawyer is also a repeat offender. Delia Wilson.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
um
I feel like I remember who
it
Delia
was
Wilson
the
is.
it was the arc right before um Barbara showed up. The
I know
baby
she. Oh, I know. I knew
sex
that. That's who.
trafficking case
Yeah,
where
I know
the
who you're
boyfriend
talking about
ended
now.
up getting like in the middle of it.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, it's an SVU. I was like,
And that was her.
yeah, because I remembered like it's referenced in Barbara's first episode because Bunch is like, ever since Delia Wilson named names, we don't have any lawyers.
Yeah,
I remember now.
that's
Yeah.
her.
Got you. Yeah,
Where
gotcha,
did we?
gotcha.
Where are you? What part?
Um, the wife is about to testify. The wife on the stand. That's where I am.
Um,
Also the
can we just say that it's very interesting how the wife wants to be drag queens
yeah,
and everything, and the husband is treating a
yeah,
trans girl like
yeah. I mentioned it, but you weren't here in
it is
conversation to go
two very different sides of the spectrum, and they've been
yeah,
married for 15 years. So
yeah. They look because she said we agree almost on everything except politics.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, you said the
Mm. Oh, she's getting on the stand. Yeah, she's about to get on the
yep.
stand. Where,
Did you read the Nolan quote?
is your career more important? I did that one.
Okay.
Or I meant she's a politician. Is
Oh
where we
yeah.
are.
So this is after she testified.
Yeah,
Um, she did good. Um,
yeah.
and Nolan, it's Nolan and Sam are sitting in like a waiting room or whatever.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're kind of waiting for the next
talking their
person
stuff.
that is talking.
And Nolan says she's a politician, and Sam says not today. Today she was a wife who spoke from the heart.
Hmm.
Um, and then the two get into a conversation about Taylor.
Hmm.
Um, and their opinions on her transitioning.
Hmm.
And at first, I was nervous because, like we both very much like to believe like Nolan is even though he's a white man, is pretty much man, what is the word I'm looking for? On the right side of things.
Yeah.
Um,
Am I
but
like
then
one of those things where like no one is just older and he doesn't understand and needed to be taught? Probably was where.
yeah, well, yeah, that's what happens. And then he's like he goes into he says he's uncomfortable about letting a 13-year-old child make this decision for themselves. And Sam says it's not a decision.
Hmm.
And Nolan continues and says, but what if 5 years from now she changes her mind? And Sam makes, and I was like, Nolan, you're getting into dangerous territory, my friend.
Hmm. Hmm. Sam
And
had to
please
correct.
don't make me not like you.
Yeah, I'm like stuff.
But Sam makes a point in saying, like, it's different than deciding if you want to be a firefighter or an astronaut. This is about deciding who you want to be.
Hmm.
Uh, and then the next line that they have Sam say is, I think, is a very important line, but
Hmm.
it's very blunt as well. So it's like,
Hmm.
um, is this what Nolan needed to hear?
Yeah, I feel like it was. I feel like he needed
Yes,
a better
it
understanding
is.
of.
Because you can see his, like, once you say no, you can see his head tilted. You can see the gears turning in his head that maybe she's right. Um,
Mm.
she says, you never didn't want to be a boy. You weren't trapped in a female body. You weren't forced to grow root. You weren't for goodness. You weren't trapped in a female body. You weren't forced to grow boobs. And she stops. Because I'm in my head, I'm thinking, technically, out of the two, Sam is technically like Nolan's lesser.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm thinking maybe she stopped because she's worried she overstepped.
Yeah.
Um, and that she went a little too far,
Yeah.
and that
She didn't want to be like disrespectful to
yeah,
her.
she didn't want to be disrespectful to him, but you could tell him hearing that it kind of
Mm-hmm.
changed his thoughts and kind of put things into perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she changes what she's saying, and she says, "I'm just saying it's complicated."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was like, it was a very descriptive example, but go Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I definitely think it put things into perspective for Nolan hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me of the Releasey conversation that Amanda and Sunny had during Transgender Bridge, which is like years ago now,
Yeah, it's the first season he's on, so it's
16. And
16.
the show has improved how they discuss um transgender
Yeah,
people
yeah. Because at first it's real bad, but
because at first
early on it's really bad.
but because I wrote the line down that she said. Um, and obviously the issue of trying um the the topic of transgender people just transitioning is more than just this, but um she says, would you or another boy that you grew up with ever wear a skirt if it didn't come from a real place? And Sunny replies and says, no, I guess not. So back then, with the info that we had, that is the way that we were able to explain it. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, it did give Sunny um a different perspective to think of, and it did
Yeah.
explain it to him. And that is what Sam did with her explanation of
Mm-hmm.
Nolan. And you could see him thinking about it, like what that would be
Mm-hmm.
like for him. Um, so yeah, it was an important conversation. I wasn't expecting Sam's description of it to get that
Mm-hmm.
descriptive, but I do think it was necessary.
I think because Sam is from the South, so like there's a lot of stigmatization
Yeah.
about transgender and being part of the LGBT community and stuff like that. A few months ago, actually, within a few months, it was like most of being in the March, I think. I went to Trans Day Visibility, the Pride parade that we had here at the Capitol. And it was a really cool experience. And then like hearing young people, kids younger than I kids, well, teenagers, really, they kind of talked about their experience of either being trans or non-binary and how like laws are like really effective and those like things are extremely hurtful instead of like saying that like we're pro-life per se, but not pro-life enough for the state saying that like we're pro-life but not pro-life for all people is a shameful, and then they need to do better because so many young trans people are losing their lives because they can't get the care that they need. So it is a very important topic, and it was really cool to go to a pride parade to make an experience if you've never done it.
I do want to say, out of all the people that they could have had on the show, like giving this description, having Sam do it was
Mm-hmm.
the right way to go. Sam
Mm-hmm.
is when she has a stance on something, she's going to be she's going to stand her ground on it, and it's going to be very powerful. Um, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So this was done pretty good for a lot of Earth
yeah.
history.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
let
we're going in
me
the right direction.
Yeah.
Um,
So the next thing is that the mom did give permission
the
to the
mom
doctor for.
testifies and she says that she did give the doctor permission to treat Taylor.
Hmm.
Dad had no idea.
Yeah.
Um, she steps down and the defense says they're calling Taylor.
Hmm.
And the mom immediately turns around and looks at her husband and says, "No, you can't call Taylor. It will destroy her." The dad is
Hmm.
like, nope, I don't
Well,
care." She talks to Nolan and Sam and explains that Taylor unfortunately has a history of potential suicide.
hmm.
Um, and that if she testified and gets possibly destroyed on the stand, she could go try to kill herself again.
Hmm.
And like, yeah, no, the dad doesn't care about that.
Yeah.
So Nolan and Sam go to talk to the dad and his lawyer. And they basically say things such as, "We're here because we're worried about your daughter.
Hmm.
Um, you're really willing to hold your child's mental health hostage, willing to gamble over a goddamn plea." And
Hmm.
this is when the dad really pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because he
For
looks
sure. I was like,
at them with straight face and says, "You keep saying daughter. I don't have a daughter."
yeah, you're like, bro, come
He is
on.
full on insistent that no, he basically killed the doctor because he was taking away his son. The thing is,
Yeah.
he doesn't have a
Never,
son. He has a daughter.
never.
He doesn't want to say
Exactly.
that at all. He's very insistent
Yeah.
that my child is my son. I don't have a
Yeah.
daughter. I don't know what any of you are talking about. I don't care.
Yeah. It's not looking good. He does not care at all.
And unfortunately, that there are a lot of people in the world who have that
So,
kind of point of view.
yeah. And have that viewpoint about that. So his lawyer offers a deal saying for you get 15 years. But yeah, that's the deal that his defense is offering. But the congresswoman is very upset about this because she doesn't think this is all fair.
Well, here's the
Uh,
thing. They didn't want like they gave a generous deal, like,
they wanted him to get life,
and so
I
they're like,
believe.
we have to think of something else to like 15 years. They didn't really want to offer him that deal,
Hmm.
but unlike the father, they had Taylor's mental health in
Hmm.
mind. They put
Yeah, they
her
didn't put
first.
that on.
The dad put himself first.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so Barrett's wife is furious, and she doesn't think it's fair for one transgender child. Um, and so Nolan is like talking to her, like explaining,
Like it's more than just that. It's
um,
because this is the last episode.
Nolan's
She
like,
the
and she
wife is very
says, like, thanks to you, like, my opponents are already putting out ad campaigns that I am okay with child genital mutilation. And Nolan's like, uh, you know, which is ridiculous, but
yeah,
politics, conservatives,
yeah.
it's a bloodbath in that case.
Hmm.
And here's the thing, this woman is a conservative and does not
Yeah,
fully believe in these issues,
yeah,
but she has a heart at the
yeah,
very least.
yeah.
And she says, thanks to you, I will likely be replaced by someone who doesn't even believe trans people are real. that it's all make believe. You made the world, you were worried about this one child, and you made the world less safe for a child. Get the hell out of my house.
Yep. And just like, no.
And Nolan is crushed.
Yep. And that's him.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Is the man in prison for killing the doctor? Yes.
Yes.
Is it long enough? Probably not. And is this going to be okay? Probably not.
Probably not.
Because she makes a very good point. Like,
Yeah.
especially because of what's going on in our world right now.
Yeah.
There are like the dad, there are people in this world who do not believe trans people are even real.
Or people. Or even
Are people,
human.
period, end of story. Which is not true. You're hearing it from both of us. Trans people are people, and they deserve respect, just
Yes.
like
You are
anybody
very
else.
valid. You are very
Um,
valid. Hold on, I gotta ask you something, but I'll text it to you.
yeah, I texted.
Uh,
I think it's very powerful that like the woman is a conservative, and she's like, no, like I'm still worried about like children because of you, because somebody might replace me who's going to make
yeah.
make life a living hell for these kids.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Um,
I'll get started on that eventually. It will be good, but
um,
eventually.
Nolan is crushed.
Yeah.
Nolan learned a lot this week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think Nolan has the possibility to be
Yeah.
a very good man.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the show focuses a lot more on like the law side of him. We don't get to see the
Yeah.
vulnerability of him a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
We
and
do
honestly
sometimes.
think
Usually it's not usually in good scenarios.
yeah, I think we need to because we need to see like what his beliefs are, what he
Yeah.
feels about
What
certain
is he
things,
really
etc.
like outside of the courtroom?
Yeah.
You don't really get that much. We have a few
Um,
times, but not like for real.
yeah, we've written it, but
Oh, we
you
have
know, the show needs.
the show. Come on. If only they would pay us to write the show for them.
Oh, we have stuff that would give Hugh an Emmy, but we can't
Yeah.
get hired.
Yeah. Look, hey, man.
But depending, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
uh,
So
so next
today, we
week,
can't even
or
say next week. It's 3 hours from now.
next week tonight,
3 hours from now. Even close to 3 hours from now. Well, less
there
than
is a
that.
person
More than
that gets
and
killed,
murdered.
murdered. Sorry,
Whatever. I'm just
uh,
being silly. I'm just using all the words for killing
injured,
people just to be funny.
unalived.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. All of the things. It doesn't, whichever one
and
you want to use.
they're
This is it.
the
The
uh
only like witness to this is
they're the hold on one second.
the only witness to this.
Sorry, I had to I lost my train of thought and I was trying to remember what I was gonna say. They are the father of somebody who was best friends
With
with no,
okay,
the defendant is, I believe, is the father of somebody who is best friends with
yeah,
Cosgrove's
Lily.
daughter,
Yeah,
Lily.
yep.
And in the promo we see Cosgrove talking to his daughter, and the
Mm.
daughter said
She's really
that
shaken up about this, but
her friend said that their dad is abusive.
yeah,
Um, so that will be. I'm gonna pause
yeah.
on that point right there.
Mm.
We know that Cosgrove can get angry, but there's no way like
He
his
don't have his
anger
skin.
is
He
saved for
cares for his skin. Yeah,
pickable people in this world.
yeah, yeah,
He is a good father. So I'm going to be very interested to see how he
How he
feels about
handles.
knowing that this father is possibly abusing his kid.
Yeah.
Um, so
And like
basically the only person who knows about this stuff is
is
Lily.
Lily. Mm-hmm.
And they need her to testify.
The
Cosgrove does
Cosgrove
not
doesn't
want
really
her to
want her.
testify.
Yeah.
And so we get this scene of in the end of the promo, and I'm very excited for this scene of Cosgrove and Nolan talking to each other. And Cosgrove uses his first name and is like, Nolan,
Mhm.
I don't want her to testify. And Nolan
Yeah.
is like, she's the only thing
He's
we
like,
have.
yeah.
So that will be interesting.
Yeah.
He wants to protect his daughter. He's like, he's got this thing where he wants to protect his daughter, but he also has to do his job.
Yeah. So he's kind of in this conflict area. And that's
And
the
Nolan
it's
understands that Cosgrove
called
wants to protect his daughter, but he also has to do his job.
it's called Class Retreat. So that'll be on soon.
Do you have the summary of it? What's it
I
say?
don't have it. We didn't write it down, so
I'll get it.
okay. And I'll make another Zoom because it's about to blow up in like 1 minute, or close to 1 minute. So
Class retreat. When a businessman is murdered, his surprising connection to Cosgrove's daughter helps the police make a break in the case. Price and Maroon disagree on how to proceed at trial when the defendant's age brings up legal precedent they must follow. Can Price and Maroon stop disagreeing on things? I need them to be okay. Like,
exactly.
please.
Exactly. Like
This
come
is
on.
my ship. I need to not fight. My ship needs to
Hmm.
my ships need to stop fighting.
Exactly. Like come on now.
Yeah.
I can't live like this. Come on. Okay, so the Zoom is about to blow up. So I will start another one. Oh, we gotta rate this one.
Oh
We'll
wait,
rate it
what do we rate this? What do we rate this one?
4.
4. Agreed.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be back.
Yes.
And do you like gotta go put this on
See you in a
mute?
bit.
Okay, in like 2 seconds, really for us. Okay. Hey,
All
we're
right,
back.
we're
Time
back.
to SVU.
Before we start talking about that, we gotta say that for those of you who weren't aware, the New York City Center's production of
Yeah, I was just
Oliver
about to say that. I was like, dang, we forgot to talk about it. Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah. Opening night
And
was last night.
oh my god.
Yeah, I
Every
forgot, dang, we forgot to talk about it all.
just about every single article I've seen or heard about
It's
or tweet I've
fantastic.
seen says it's like,
Fantastic. It's
here's the
amazing.
thing. Same things that there says the reviews are mixed, but every single person is like, if you're gonna go for Raul Esparza. Everybody's
Okay.
singing his praises.
Of course, you know.
Mariska even retweeted a
Yeah,
video of
yeah. I was
singing
like, oh,
his songs in rehearsal. Ugh.
yeah.
And they put the New York City Center put out footage of him or like the
Mhm,
show on their
mhm.
website. Oh my freaking god. If I could get to New York, I would
Yeah, we can.
like I need
Yeah,
this.
we would. And I would
This
be spend all the money in my
is
bank account.
so
Yeah,
um
'cause it's almost. I was like,
context.
dang, if we could have done that for my birthday, I cannot, because my birthday is coming up. Yeah, didn't get to do that, but it's okay. We'll save up for our
Here's the
Broadway
context.
adventure
So
eventually.
yeah,
We'll
we
save up
need to
for our
go see
Broadway
Roll or something. That's what we need to do.
someday.
Also, New York City Center, you need to bring this to Broadway, please.
Yeah, something.
Please. Because
I'm
Roll
begging.
needs to get a Tony because it is freaking
Exactly.
10 plus years too late to
Exactly. Come on now. You
give
still know
this
this.
man what he deserves.
Exactly.
Anyway,
We talk.
context for Roll's role. So Roll is playing Fagin and Oliver. Fagin is a pickpocket who enlists boys like 9 to 12 to do his bidding. in most productions, the role of Fagin is more so, I'm just gonna send these boys out to do my bidding, have fun with it. But every article and even Roel has specifically said himself, he is more so playing as he says it like that Fagin loves these boys, but he just so happens to be putting them in dangerous situations. And I just read an article that said like usually Fagin is like skeezy, sleazy, and all that. This one, Roels, cares about these boys that are pickpocketing for him, which I absolutely love that turn in the character, because in the show, spoiler alert, they're in the show like later, like Fagin like realizes maybe I shouldn't be doing this anymore. Now it's like he cares about these boys, and then the change later is like maybe I shouldn't pickpocket anymore, but he still already has the caring nature about these kids.
Yeah,
Also, he's literally like, we know from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang that when he has a role with kids, it's
always good.
wonderful.
It is.
He has like 12 boys, 10, 12 boys that he has, Fagin has in his game. That role like spends like the entire show with, and makes me happy. Also, while it doesn't fully make sense to me considering the show is called Oliver, he has the last bow, which is awesome. I need to know. I forget. I don't care about copyright right now. We need to.
And we don't really get copyright. I think only YouTube does that, but we don't get paid anymore anyway.
Wait, I need to find this clip because
whatever y'all want to see,
literally everywhere.
man, if you want to get our ambassadorship back, listen to our podcast. Get your friends to listen to our podcast. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
we're very.
Also, Roel is not the only Law and Order person who is in this show.
Yeah.
Caitlin Davidson is in this show, and she is better known to all of you guys as Elizabeth Stabler. So she's, I think, in the ensemble, but she's been posting a lot of things about Roel too. So it's small world, and I love that little connection that they're both in it. Where is this thing? You'd think it'd be easier to find considering I've been retweeting
it should be everywhere, but
all the time. But here. Also, he has this fun cane, and somebody with freaking eagle eyes pointed out that this coat is either the same coat or very similar to the coat that he wore in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which I love.
Who is this eagle eyes man? Like, you were
like literally people look.
Yeah.
So this is like their little like lair, and with all the
excited.
kiddos. And if I play this, are we gonna get copyrighted? Okay, cool.
No, that's on YouTube. We don't have it. We have a YouTube channel, but I'm too lazy to
Cool, then we're
make
listening
short
to it.
videos.
Also,
I would
so
if I
to
wasn't
make
lazy.
like makes him look. Oh, I left my Bluetooth on. My dad probably just heard it through our treadmill. You know, it's fine. You get to listen to Roel. You can't really fully tell, but his hair is scraggly, and he's got like this makeup around his eye because Fagin lives on the streets. Is my volume working? All right, I promise you we'll get to SVU after this, but this is important.
This is important.
Why should we break our backs stupidly?
Oh my god.
Why should we?
Let me actually show it.
I can't see it. I mean, I've probably seen it like 8.
To get some untaxed income, better pick a pocket or two. You just got to pick a pocket or two. Boys! You've got to pick a pocket or two. Why should
The serotonin that
That's
one
so
clip
good.
gives me, any freaking role this man gets cast in is perfect.
Yeah, it
But
is.
the fact that he's just with a bunch of kids makes me even happier.
Mhm.
And he's got an accent, which is fun.
Yes.
So, if you get to go see it, I'm jealous, but also good for you.
Yeah.
And I need this to get transferred to Broadway
Yes.
so damn bad.
Yeah, it's indeed.
Or at the very least, I need somebody to put a bootleg out there of
Yeah.
like the whole
Or
thing.
like,
and I can see.
or like when they make like a cast recording or something, please they better have like a cast
Please,
recording on like we can listen to it, you
please
know.
give us Roll and Oliver content,
Yeah.
please.
Yes, thank you. We're back. It's almost my birthday. So like if you don't do it for any reason,
Please
do it
do
for
it
my
for
birthday.
Taryn. She's turning 21 and your final show day is her birthday.
Yeah,
Please.
we're begging. I'm begging you, please. Cal is giving us puppy eyes, so like please. Like do it. This isn't a request. I'll
This
be
has
like,
been
I was
the
gonna
only
make
thing
a
that's given me serotonin in a week.
yeah.
So
I was gonna make like a threat that's not a threat. I was gonna say like, we'll be under your bed if you're not showing the video to us. This is a threat I use that's not a threat. I'll be under your bed. Like, come on. That's my favorite threat. That's not a threat I use all the time. So like, please, we're begging you. Anyway, I think we're trying to move on because I don't have any more. I have more threats that are not a threat. That's what I got right now.
anyway, so we're very excited about Oliver. Hold
Yes.
on, I'm gonna mute.
You didn't even say what you were saying. Anyway, now I don't even know. Kelly just then muted us. I don't even know what she was saying. What were you even telling me? I don't even know. We have 2 hours. No, that's incorrect. 3 hours until the
I
show.
was
We
on
got
mute when I realized I said that. I just said
I was
Molly
like,
is
I
so
don't know.
stinking cute.
And I was like, I don't know
Okay,
what you were saying, man. Okay,
go
anyway,
check out her Instagram. I'll be back.
I did. I already did. Oh, well, here's a clip. Hold on. There's a clip coming. There's a sneak peek clip. Here's a sneak peek clip that we can't watch right now, but we'll watch later. Don't be watching it now if I send it to you because we have work to do. We have 3 hours.
She is so cute. I
We
love
have
her.
3 hours to get this done.
I'm
Okay,
sorry, I'm
SB.
getting distracted by Roll and Molly.
Yeah, we love Molly. Molly, know that we
sneak
love you.
peek.
But you can't watch it
Naomi?
now. We have work to do. Don't play it now. Better not be playing it now. Better not be. I don't believe you. I think you're
is
lying to me.
You sent it to me.
I
Don't
said
send it
don't
to
watch
me.
it now.
You don't want me to watch it.
I think we can't watch it. I have work to do. We gotta talk about Betty. We gotta talk about Betty. We have 3 hours. We have 3 hours. 3 hours. No. 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 Stop it. Anyway, I'll start without her since she wants to not listen to me. SVU 2419 is called Bend the Law. Callie's making some interesting facial expressions after she's watching this after I told her not to. It's Bend the Law, which is a fantastic episode.
Okay, fine. I will be patient, but the one thing I need to say is we have our same blankets again.
We do. I have this in my bed like every day though.
Okay, the actual
That's why.
important thing I was actually going to say that had to do with the clip is they finally give us a Muncie and Olivia interrogation scene.
Yes. I did see that. For like I watched like 2 seconds of it and I said, stop, we have work to do.
I
Bend the
know.
law.
I will be good and I'll wait because we need to, I
Well,
need to watch that. But
will
we
vaguely
finally get a
threaten you
Muncie
if you don't.
Olivia scene. Yay. Okay.
I will vaguely threaten you if you don't.
SVU.
Bend the
Ben
law,
Law.
which is a
Betty
fantastic
Buckley is
episode.
finally back.
Betty Buckley. Yes. Our
And
TV grandma. We love
my
her. So
freaking
much.
God, it's having to sing her praises for God knows how long.
Bend the law.
And I need to hurry because I have work to do because I told
Okay,
my
we're
mom.
gonna
I told my mom this
yeah.
was only gonna take 30 minutes and then I forgot we talked.
30. God, when did you think this ever took 30 minutes? When?
I was trying not to. I was gonna say an hour, but I thought that was gonna be like iffy, and I realized, yeah, 30 minutes probably wasn't the best.
Anyway, we gotta hurry up because you have stuff to do. 3 hours till the show comes on.
Okay.
Bend the law. Here we go. So the first
Start
scene
with the
is
scene
in the precinct.
of
No, the first scene is the
Charlie
precinct.
and Velasco are in the precinct.
Yeah.
And Velasco's trying to like leave, and he
It's like time
sees
to go.
Trillish at her desk and says, "Shouldn't you be at home alphabetizing your merit badges?"
I was like, the roast game is
Velasco.
strong in the youngins department. Golly.
Goodness. And then Velasco said, Shirley continues, and she says, "The Girl Scouts of America is a good organization." And Velasco's like, "That was a joke."
I know.
So I was like, cool. We find out that Tony was a Girl Scout, which I can
Yeah.
absolutely see.
Yeah.
And Joe likes Thin Mints.
Yeah,
She's
he's
like,
like,
he's
"Bro,
like,
can you give me a box of Thin Mints?" Yeah, she's like,
yeah. And then Velasco goes into Olivia's office, and Olivia literally just has the smile on her face, and she looks right at him. She's like, they're talking about like, that everything with Chili, and she looks right at him, and I don't know why she's like
he's like, "So you handled it? You got anything to
happy
tell
about
me?"
this, but she's like, today's the day, and Velasco's like, what do you mean? And she's like, yeah, you're going up there to get your friend, who is in Camden, Maine.
Yep. They
And
know
then
where Chili
Velasco's like,
is.
okay, can I take Muncie? Like, he was very
No.
quick at being like, please let me take Muncie. Make this situation better. Please let me take
Yeah.
her. And Olivia's like, nope.
You're
Because
taking
the only
Chili's.
thing worse than a partner with no loyalty is blind loyalty.
I said, "Ooh,
Take your own damn advice."
And then we were like, "Oh, Olivia." Everyone, it's like all of our friends. We have like people who like a group chat of our friends who like watch this show because people don't watch the show. We were like, "Oh." We were like, "Man,
Olivia
you
is
take your own."
great at fishing advice, but you cannot take it.
Yeah, look. You seem so fucked. She seems quite self-aware, but not when it actually happens.
That
Like
is a good one. But
when
I
people
also
bring it
like,
up to Olivia that this is a problem, she gets defensive. But like randomly,
yeah.
she gets like these random blips of like, "Oh, I'm self-aware. I have a problem," and then it's like, Olivia, get yourself together, man. Sorry, that was
Because
my
here's the
tangent.
thing. Is Muncie a good detective and a good person? Yes. Absolutely. Problem is, her and Velasco have gotten really close.
Yeah.
So if Muncie went with him, no matter what Velasco did, even if it was something bad, she would have his back.
Shouldn't
No
have been
matter
as
what.
honest about it.
She wouldn't have been as honest about it. And honestly, right now with a situation like this, Velasco needs to be held accountable. Like, someone to give him some sort of accountability
Yeah.
in case
To make sure he
something,
does what he was supposed to be doing.
yeah, do what he needs to do. So he's like, nope, you're going. Olivia's like, nope, you're going with Shirlish. And Velasco's like, okay, great.
Yeah.
Like, Olivia, need you forget that the reason we're in this situation in the first place is because Shirlish recorded him?
Yeah.
And
That
now
kinda
you're sending them in a car together to drive to Maine.
happened.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
And then the next scene we get Betty's here.
Yeah.
Um,
Betty, we love you so much.
we love
We'll
you so
probably
much.
we said we're gonna tag you in this episode. So if you ever listen to this
We
and
need
know,
to. We
we
should.
will.
Like, I've put
We adore you.
a few like posts on Twitter, like replying to her,
Yeah.
like thinking nothing of it. And then 10 minutes later it says, Beckley liked your play, and then I have a freak out and I'm like,
Yeah.
she's the sweetest freaking thing in the world.
It
Like,
is. We love you
woman
so much.
has a
So
heart of
sweet.
gold.
Yes.
And the voice of an angel,
Mm-hmm.
and the acting prowess of a queen.
Yes.
Also, this entire episode was all her idea.
Yeah, she pitched the episode, and I was like,
She came up with an idea, and she really wanted Maxwell to go back to SVU. So she had this idea. She pitched it to Mariska. Mariska was like, "That's a great idea." And then they pitched it to the writers' room, and the writers' room was like, "Yes."
let's do it.
Yes.
It's so good. Yeah. Betty is like our
with-
TV grandma. We love you so much, Betty.
Yeah, she is. It's Betty Buckley, and well, wait till Organized Crime to say this, but like, Betty Buckley and Ellen Burstyn are TV grandmas.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then it's
No ifs, ands,
no emphasis.
okay,
Point correct. So it's the first. So Lorraine, Miss Maxwell, Lorraine, she's having. Is it breakfast?
a little
Lunch?
dinner with her husband, or
Yeah.
her second husband, because
Her
for
second
context, if you don't know, she was in an abusive marriage for 15 years
Yeah.
until she finally escaped, which
That is
honestly proves how
referenced
damn
in
strong she is for being around that and in that for 15 years.
Yeah, that's wild.
I don't know how
It is.
she did it, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that episode is referenced
And she's literally like,
to the season. That
she's
episode
smiling and she's happy, and my heart is happy because she's
that
literally like,
episode
to my
is
second.
in. Is it in the? It's the steps we cannot take. Isn't it the step we cannot take? I believe is that one.
No, I know that she's in the abusive marriage in
Yeah.
Final
Final
Call.
Call.
If only
Yeah, and then I'm talking about something else entirely then. Wrong
because
quote.
she's
Sorry,
like,
that's the key.
I escaped. I didn't kill my husband.
Yeah. We love the Final Call. I was a year old man in like 2 weeks. But anyway.
And she's like, to my second husband, I adore. And I'm like,
yeah, it was like,
oh.
it was very sweet.
And he's a little younger. And Lorraine's husband is played by the amazing, incredible Tom Irwin, who is a repeat offender in the Dick Wolf universe. He's been like on the Chicago shows more recently, but he was on the episode. It was back in the Elliot Olivia era where
1.0
1.0
we called it one.
Where there are this like brother and sister pair that are like going around and they have all these different identities, and Irwin played the boyfriend of the sister who was in love with the girl. I can probably find that episode. Give me a sec. But while we're continuing, it's their anniversary. He's a little younger. Betty was concerned about who was going to be playing Maxwell's husband, and then she was very happy when she found it was him. Because apparently they like know each other, and Tom is an incredible actor, as we'll get to later. And I literally just put Maxwell is happy.
Yeah, it's very sweet. It's such a
soft and eyes emoji. Then we transition to like this gentleman's club.
Yeah, it's a gentleman's
These guys are just sitting and drinking, and this woman comes up, and the like host or guy up front is like, "Oh, can I help you?" And she's like, "Yeah, you can help me find my husband. I have a message to send him," and pulls out a shotgun. And the guy's like, "Oh."
They were like, "Whoa, man, whoa. He's up there if you want to."
Yeah, he's there. He's over there. So she goes upstairs to find her husband. She opens the door and she sees her husband and
some other guys with some young girls on their laps.
Scantily clad young girls. To them around their laps. Ooh. Before I forget, talk about
shot him in.
Yeah, she shot
the
him.
wife shot. She shot him in the junk. In the man zone.
And then the police were called and SVU showed up.
Yeah.
So I found the episode that Erwin was in originally. And it's Bombshell back in 2011.
That's cool. That's like season 12, isn't it? Not quite season 12. 11,
And
12.
I was wrong about him being on the Chicago shows. I got him mixed up with somebody else who looks similar to him that is on the shows a lot. But anyway, he's a repeat offender. He has been on SVU before. And here's this for 6 degrees of separation. So Hugh Dancy is married to Claire Danes. And Claire Danes was on this TV show called My So-Called Life. And so was Tom Irwin. Small worlds.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Gotta love it. Oh, he's been in Criminal Minds. Fun.
I probably have seen him. I watched a lot of Criminal Minds also.
Anyway, so Olivia and Bruno show up to the scene.
Yeah. I'm wondering.
And Bruno was like, yeah, so here's what's happening. And Olivia's looking around and she sees Maxwell's husband standing there.
And they're like, oh.
And she's like,
That's good.
And Bruno's like, are you good? And she's like, no. Because the husband of the
trial division
chief is here.
Yeah. We're like, ugh.
And he rushes over to Olivia and he's like, his wrists are zip tied. And here's the thing that I love. We don't know why or how, but Olivia knows him and he knows her. And they're all aware
like
each other. And Olivia knows he's married to Maxwell. And Roger's like, this is all a big misunderstanding. Harold is a victim here. His wife shot him. I saw it myself.
Yeah, we're like, or we'll get to that. I don't spoil it.
And I'm like, oh, we're like, that already gave me like a red flag. Like,
yeah.
Okay. And here's the thing, like, Olivia's like, okay, we're gonna take care of that, but and he's taken away, and she turns back to Bruno, and Bruno is like, we're arresting the trial DA's husband.
Yep.
And Olivia says, if he so much as touched these girls, we're doing a lot more than that.
I know, we're like, oh.
Mic drop.
Get him again. So the next part
and we transition to Velasco and Shirless. They arrive in Spain and they're discussing like, we stay in our car, do we get a hotel room, what? And Shirless at one point is like, okay, I'm sorry, we have to we need to go find your boy. And Velasco is like, first of all, he's not my boy. Let's get that straight. And I think at one point I
watched it again, but I forgot to write it down. What they actually
and he said, I think like he called her girl.
He said something else, but I can't remember what it was. I know I watched the episode again, and I can't remember.
It sounded like that.
It might be. Who knows?
Anyway. And he's getting honest with her, and he's like, look, he saved my life. I almost died.
Yep.
And during like his time with the hitman training camp thing.
Yeah.
And he said Chili basically saved his life. Then we transition back to the SVU precinct, and Sonny steps out of the elevator and he's like, this is a mess.
This is a mess.
Which it is. Because you got a bunch of older guys in a club.
These girls,
underage girls are. And one
question
of them
mark going on. Questionable things are happening.
Yeah, questionable
One of
things.
the D.
One of them happens to be married to the child DA.
Yeah.
And so Olivia and here's the thing I noticed. Maxwell kept her name, or has a different last name than him.
Yeah, she was
Her
angry.
name is Lorraine Maxwell. His
Mhm.
name is Roger Briggs. So they're married, but they don't have the same last name.
Yeah.
I thought was interesting. And then so we get Sunny follows Olivia into her office, and then we have a conversation, and Olivia says, "This doesn't bode well for Maxwell's second marriage."
Yeah, it's not
Tracy
good.
continues, or her career. It will
Mhm.
basically put poison in the 8th floor.
Yep.
And Carisi was immediately like, I need to go talk to her. And Olivia is like, you can't. It's a conflict of interest. And Carisi's like, but she's my boss. So once again, Carisi with a good heart.
Yeah.
And before either of them can go do anything,
Mhm.
Maxwell shows up,
She shows up, and they were like,
literally just appears in the doorway, and asks if she can talk to them. And they say yes. She sits down and she says that she's been married to Briggs for 7 years.
yeah.
So her first marriage was 15 years and it was abusive, and her second marriage has been going on for 7 years.
And it seemed all right till right now. It was
Yeah.
pretty good till right now.
Everything was good until now. And she says you learn a lot about a man in that time, his morality, like his personality,
Yeah.
everything. And as she was saying this, I'm like, oh my gosh, now
No,
she's sad, and I don't like it.
I don't like it. You don't like when the characters are
I
sad.
don't like when our favorite
Unless we
characters
do.
sad. And
Unless we feel angsty and depressed.
especially I do not like
Not
seeing
like
Betty
that.
Buckley sad. Like it made me sad. No, stop
Mhm.
it. Then we transitioned to Muncie talking to the girls. The girls originally said that they were hired as hostesses and they only had to do things like getting drinks, taking coats. Then the men started paying them for more.
Mhm.
Other favors, letting them touch them, sit with them,
Yeah.
cuddle them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other sexual favors, but the girls were very clear that no, like, sex actually happened.
Yeah.
It was more like servicing them in other ways.
Yeah. Which is so bad. Bad.
Still bad, but they made that just distinction.
Yeah.
And then we have not Velasco's gone. Muncie and Finn
Yeah.
go do the interrogation scenes. And they're talking to Harold, the guy that was shot, who is like the main
Yeah.
guy that's
He
in
was
this.
being. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and at one point Muncie says, do we look like a lawyer? Like, we don't know how, like, the law part of this. And the guy
Mm.
immediately shoots back and says, you barely look old enough to be a cop. And it was like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, you're
Hey,
not
man.
talking about a girl like that.
Oh wow, this establishment.
Get it? Because now we've had people who have made comments like that in regards to Jet. And now we got people saying it about Muncie. And no. Bad
Just
people.
because you're young does not mean you can say
Yeah.
that about people.
Just because they're young does not mean they are not qualified for their job. They're bad at
Exactly.
Anyway. I literally wrote, you leave our girl alone.
Exactly.
And then he goes on and is basically like, yeah, sure, I was here and a part of this, but you need to go talk to Roger. He's the one that is like at the forefront of this.
Hmm.
Um
Yep.
and then we transition to a scene where Olivia and Sunny
They go
were
through like Olivia. They go to
oh,
like the side.
Maxwell
So
was talking to her husband, and then Olivia and Sunny like happened to like be there, and then Maxwell's like, "You need to stop talking. Stop."
yeah, because they were walking. Oh no! What they were doing was they were going to like the other side of Olivia's office, where like you can see into the interrogation room, and then Maxwell comes in with Roger behind her, and he's like, "I have nothing to do with this." She's like, "Stop talking." He's making some kind of excuse about that he was not involved in this. She's like, "Just talk."
Um, so all the other guys were indicted, and then
Yep.
there's this scene where Olivia and Sunny are like getting coffee at a coffee cart.
Hmm.
Here I love this little parallel. Like first, this would always be Olivia and Barbara. And I
Yep.
like
Their little walk and talk with their
the
coffee.
walk and talk. I like how she's having this little walk and talk with Sunny now.
Mm,
Like obviously it's different. Like Barson is it was
yeah.
obviously starting to become
Mm. I was
more
watching some
organized
season
now.
18. I was watching some season 18 yesterday, and I was like, this is it. This is
We're
the
going to die
Barson
on
is.
the hill. But now I like that she still
I'm
has
dying.
conversations with Sunny. Like they've
They're
gotten
great
so
friends.
close and I love it.
I love it. It makes me happy.
And Olivia's like,
What's my phone? Really good.
"What do you need from me?" And Sunny's like, "Besides sleep,
Yeah, I was like,
I need sleep." Um,
we already mentioned it. I was like, I guess you're not getting sleep with your wife being pregnant or something, sonny. But like,
yeah, we get wait, what?
I was like, maybe he's not sleeping because like Amanda's up because she's pregnant. But who knows? Considering that I have to make this point before we move on. If Amanda's quite pregnant by the time she shows up next week,
Yeah.
how did Sonny not tell
I was gonna
anyone?
say that. How did he not tell anyone? If he found out Amanda was pregnant with his kid, he'd be
That man wasn't
walking
telling
around
everyone.
the place with the biggest, goofiest smile on his face. And
Everything.
everyone would be like, "What's up?
Come on,
You're
man.
never this
Please spill your
happy.
secret. Spill.
What up?"
Spill now.
So that I would be
Anyway,
very, very curious to see
why he didn't tell anyone?
why he hasn't said anything.
How did he keep it a secret for at least 5 months? At least 5 months. He's kept this
Um,
a secret.
so then we get a
Anyway, moving on. Sorry,
conversation
that's my tangent I had to get on.
between um Roger and Maxwell. And
Roger's kind of been saying he was only there for a drink. He never
he
asked for
never asked for
sexual favor.
sexual
So he
favor.
says anyway.
And I wrote the Betty
Hold
is
on, I
wearing
gotta
the
do something real quick.
I wrote,
1 second. Keep talking.
I wrote that Betty is wearing the yellow plaid shirt from the Mariska singing video. So we get to see Maxwell in casual clothes, which I like, which is cool. Because usually we just see her in like her like long coats and her blazers and her court outfits. Then we transition back to Velasco and Shirlish, and their investigation has taken them to they find this woman has sent Chile money from Mexico. And um it leads them to a middle school. They try to talk to like this principal, and she isn't really giving them much information. She doesn't really like see an issue in like her giving him money. She doesn't really know what she isn't really like saying that she knows what's happening. And so Velasco and Shirless go to leave, and as they leave, Velasco looks into a classroom and sees his friend, Chili. Chili is now a teacher, and we're going to keep this in mind that this man killed a father and son and is now teaching children. Woo. All right. Then we transition to Maxwell and Roger again, and Roger and Roger, I believe, is talking with Olivia, and he says, like, I don't know, maybe people got like the wrong idea from the club. I mean, we had recently put like nymphets from Greek mythology, like statues of that in the club. And Olivia's like, yeah, that's more than that. It's more than that. But okay. And then we get Maxwell, Olivia, and Carisi talking in her office. And she says that she knows her husband is lying. And she said she didn't want to say anything because she didn't want to emasculate him. Oh, that hurts my heart so much. But it also shows like how much respect she has for the men she loves and she believes love her. Where did I leave off? I lost it. Hold on.
Let me record.
All right.
Okay, we're back. You can talk about. I could probably can still hear you. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay. Before we get back to the show,
I see you. I'm coming.
before we get back to the show, Taryn had to go do something, so I'm going to read this amazing article that the New York State Review just left off. Oh yeah, Maxwell said she didn't want to emasculate her husband. And then continues and says, get the warrants, any and all that a judge will allow. So she's starting to realize her husband isn't the man that he says he is, and that she needs to put justice ahead of her marriage. And yeah. So then we get the scene of Finn and Muncie going to talk to Carisi. Carisi's like, did you find anything in the warrants? And they're like, at first, no. What do we have for this case? And then as they're talking, Muncie gets a phone call. And it is said that there were nude photos of the girls, all three girls found in Roger's locker. Yeah. And then we get a scene at home with Roger and Lorraine. And it gets into an argument, and at one point basically says Maxwell says, please shut up, Roger. And Roger says, until what, Lorraine? You divorce me to save your own ass? Because basically at this point, like, the trial Diaz husband had just been found with child pornography in his possession. Because all these girls are under 18 in their nude photos. This isn't gonna spell well for her. And Maxwell continues, and she's like, until I figure out what to do. And she goes and she talks to Olivia.
I have returned.
I returned. You returned. All right. Let me finish my thought. You need to hear what this article said. You guys are gonna hear it
I
twice.
have returned.
You're gonna hear it
Hold on.
over and
Can I
over.
connect my AirPods.
We find out that the settlement from her divorce case with her first abusive husband was so large that she would be sentenced for life, basically. Roger didn't have a lot, so she wanted to help provide for him. I don't know why she does, but she said she gives him a monthly allowance. Like, you're married. I don't know why your husband needs a monthly allowance, but also, like, good on you for keeping control of your own money.
Okay, I'm back. I don't know if you heard me say that.
What?
Did you hear me saying I'm back?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was talking about like I don't fully understand why Maxwell said she gives Roger a monthly allowance.
Good job. Robert, good job.
Uh,
Um,
um, and then she gets that soft and she looks at Olivia and she says, "Am I somehow to blame for this?"
look, what's job?
And Olivia says, "No, absolutely not." And she continues and she says, "I know you already had one abuse marriage." And I was like at that point, like I knew this whole situation was sad, but I was like, I don't know what Olivia's talking about. Like, this isn't an abusive marriage, like the second one anyway.
Well, it's
Um,
in a different sense. It was more like he was freeloading off of her.
yeah, but she loves him
Yeah,
also.
yeah. He was a
And here is the line in the episode that broke my first one in the episode that broke my fucking heart. "You always speak with such conviction, Olivia. I wish I could believe you now."
and I was like, oh, no, stop. My little heart's gonna shatter. Like my heart's gonna shatter. Stop.
And then we transition because we need to preface it by saying Maxwell still called her husband a lawyer.
Yeah.
Um, the lawyer is talking to Carisi, and he's like, "Is there a promotion in this for you?"
And I was like,
And we're like,
oh,
and
that's a
Sonny
little
turns
blow.
around, and he's got this like really kind of
What do you
look on
think
his
is
face,
Mhm.
and he's like, he says something before it, but I forget, and he said, "Well, but apparently, you don't know me at all. Have a good day," and leaves because
I know. Have a
that
nice
is
day.
the
I was like, ooh,
mic drop that he's got. Like, no. Sonny
I'm like
is
pop
like,
off.
Sonny's about to pop off. He's like, "I am not doing this for promotion. Thank you very much. You don't know me at all."
Exactly.
Mic drop. Um, we find out that Chili later. Sorry, we're back to the main.
Yeah, it is a lot of hopping.
It's
Hopping
back
back
to
and
the
forth.
plot. We found out Chili has a wife and kid.
Yeah.
And is this? Yeah, no, not yet.
Not yet. I know what you
And we
mean.
go back to New York, and Maxwell is telling Roger to take the deal that the SVU is basically giving him. Um,
yeah.
and
He
it
wasn't
was
gonna do it.
I forget what the concept is.
Oh, the conversation about where hold on, because where they find out that Chili has a wife and kid is because Chili's at the bar where they were they were that he and um that they were at, which he's at with Charlotte, and then because he's like talking like casual, his wife was like, "We have to go see her relieve the babysitter and give a kid." That's how they decided. Anyway, back to where we were.
No, the line that says, "Are you so delusional that you'll actually believe that?" I don't remember the context.
It was when she was telling Roger to take the deal, and he was like totally convinced that he was like innocent, and was
Yeah.
like,
Oh
"I
yeah.
never did
Are you so
anything."
delusional you'll actually believe that? And it basically brought like now we get to the point where Roger is starting to guilt her and gaslight her to make this go away. And that is why when I started realizing that yes, Olivia is right. This is now starting to turn into an abusive marriage. Unfortunately, we don't know how it was the first 7 years, but one
Yeah,
situation has changed this
yeah,
marriage for the worse.
everything has. Yeah,
Um, and Roger continues and he says, "You're upset that I didn't come crawling to you again." Um,
and he's kind of
he
like,
says,
"You're worried about yourself."
yeah, and continues and says, "If I'm going to go down, you're going
With
down
you.
with me." And he
Yeah, because
yells,
she's
he
like
like
saying
yells
that
at
like she's
him.
worried about her image because she is the trial division chief.
Yeah. And so I only knew Tom from the first SVU episode he was ever in. and that character is very soft and kind and naive. So I didn't know this man could yell like this, and I
It's
was
wild. Like it's an
it's
intense
crazy.
scene. Like it's like worrisome that you think he's gonna get physical. Like he's very aggressive with her. Yeah, then she's like, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah, which made
And
me
then he
sad.
says, yeah, I was like, oh. And then he says, I'm the man you
Man
love.
you
Happy
love.
anniversaries.
Yeah, but he
Happy
says it like
anniversary,
this.
sweetheart.
I'm the man you love. Happy anniversary, sweetheart.
Because he had made dinner. No, this is when he made dinner.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my
No,
God,
this is
please,
the conversation they were having.
please stop
Really?
yelling at her.
I was like, stop. I'll be through your screen. I'll be through
Yeah, you're stop
in a
it.
non-violent manner, of course, but I will be
Yeah.
through your screen if you don't stop yelling at me.
All right, then yeah, because you could see she's like shutting down and it's hurting her.
Yeah.
And then we transition back to Maine and Velasco and Chili. Because at first Chili is like, I didn't pretend, like, doesn't recognize him.
Yeah, he's like, I
And
don't know who he's talking about. He's like, who else calls you Chili? And he's like,
yeah, and he's like, then he realizes it's Velasco. And then they have a conversation, and Velasco's like, I never thanked you for covering for me that night. And Chili says, I did what I had to do, or we both would have been dealt with. And then Shirlish, like we see this like small little camera shot of Velasco looks at Shirlish. Shirlish gets the hint, of what he's trying to say, and she grabs her stuff and leaves the bar.
yeah.
So Velasco could talk to Chili. So they have this whole conversation. He goes back outside. They go to like this cute little coffee shop, and Shirlish is like, and you like basically at one point was like, and you still didn't get anything like on your friend? And Velasco pulls out his phone and shows that he has a recording. And I was like, please, I was hoping he was gonna say something about this, and he did, and he says, I took a page out of your playbook.
No, I was like, ooh.
I was like, ooh.
Ooh.
And Shirley's just like, all right, I gotta give you that one.
And
Like,
she's like,
and then as they're leaving, or as Velasco is leaving, he is approached by a woman with a gun, Shirley's wife, holding a gun,
mm.
and he's
Yeah.
basically like, get in the van, and I'm like,
He's like, whoa, man. And I was like, oh.
I was like, are we
Jesus.
about to see a kidnapping? Like,
I was like, oh,
I was
God,
like,
that was
no, he finally like did what he
guys.
needed to do. It was good. Like, please.
And then was gonna be snatched up. I said, oh no.
And the woman is basically
She's
just
like,
like,
get in the
please tell me this
van.
isn't my husband. Like, please tell me this isn't Anthony. And Velasco's looking right at the gun, and he's not.
He's not really phased by her, actually. He's
He's
not
like,
even feel as threatened as she wants him to think. He's just like,
yeah. He says,
I'm a
I've
cop.
seen the barrel of a gun before, and the people who would shoot it. That's not you. You're not a killer, but your husband was.
Yeah.
And then the wife starts crying in Velasco's arms.
Yeah.
At the realization that, unfortunately,
He's right.
like,
Unfortunately,
she
he
says
is
her
right.
husband has changed, but unfortunately, this is the man he is. Then we
This
go
is an
back
interesting
to
thing about this is something I gotta say before I forget. It's an interesting thing view of husbands in this episode. Because we've got Maxwell's husband
yeah, you're
who
right.
has gone from good to evil, and then Chili, who's gone from evil to good. Kind of this like thing is going on with the A plot and the B plot of the episode, which is really interesting.
All right. Then we transition back to Maxwell and Roger. Maxwell's
Yeah.
just entering her kitchen, and she sees that Roger has like set up like a candlelight dinner. And she's like, what are you doing?
He's very drunk, probably.
And
He's had
yeah,
some.
she's like, she can tell that he's drunk. Um, um,
No, I might just be
He's
I
like,
might
he's
have just been
basically
hearing something
like,
in my dorm room. I was like, huh?
it's still our anniversary. Come on,
Yeah,
let's make
let's have a drink together.
yeah, let's have
Kind
a
of
drink
like he
together. Let's make
says,
out. Let's
all I
make out.
wanted to have is one more meal with you.
Yeah. And Maxwell took the drink for him, and I was a little nervous about her
She was
drinking.
trying to keep him calm. I think if she had said no, he might have gotten mad. So I
But I
think
was
she
a
was just trying
little
to.
nervous about taking the drink for him because, like, my brain went to she's gonna take the drink, and things are going to get bad, and I was
Yeah,
worried that he was possibly going to assault her.
I did. My mom thought that she was like, "Oh my god, something's gonna happen here." 'Cause she was texting me because I wasn't home yet. But she was texting me like, "Bro, he's
I
gonna
was
do
worried
something."
that's where we're gonna go, and I'm like, no, this has already happened to her once. Like, please don't let that it go down that road. Um,
Yeah, because she's like to me like, "Come on, Roger, like just we don't have to do this. I would just go to bed." You know, he's kind of like, "No, he doesn't want to. We're gonna have this meal and have know what's going on." Then he like, she starts to walk away. She's like, "I'm going to bed." And then he goes, "Your ex," and then he gets really mad. He's like, goes the lowest blow he could do.
and I literally was like
I was like,
shaking
yeah, I
at
was
this
like,
point
I was like, oh,
because she's literally trying to leave, and I'm like, okay, fine, we're just gonna end. And then she goes, "Your goodness, your ex-husband kept you in line, humiliating you. You castrating bitch, you deserved it."
and I was like, oh, our mouths were agape for like 30 seconds. And I was like, bro,
Uh,
I can't.
literally, I was shaking in my heart, like my heart
My
hurt.
heart level.
And I wrote at first, like she at first seems sad and shattered. Like, this is probably the stuff, like the humiliating part, and her ex-husband
Yeah.
keeping me in line.
Yeah,
There's a
we
few
don't really know what it looked like per
there's a
se,
few
but
things
like,
in this. A, she got that for 15 years, and now she's hearing it from
yeah,
the man who she thought loved her.
yeah, I mean, Nathaniel
Two,
said that.
she trusted Roger enough that she told
He
him
knew of, yeah,
everything about her ex-husband, and now he's throwing it back at her.
yeah, that was
And
horrendous.
three, and I wrote this down. This is all Betty. You could see the pain in her eyes as she realizes her life is starting to repeat.
Yeah, there's,
Um, and then
then he starts
he
choking.
starts choking. He literally
And you're
starts,
like,
and you can see in an instant Betty goes from sad, sad to
well, karma's
she
a bitch.
realizes she's not going to be the victim anymore.
Yeah, because
And
he's choking.
he's choking. She turns back around and
He's like
slowly
for real choking. Because I guess
and
she, for a second, he's like, is he like for real? No, he's actually choking.
he's like full on choking. He's pointing at her.
He's
He's
like, help
pointing
me.
at her.
He falls on
And
the floor.
he's starting to panic, which isn't helping the choking. And
Yeah, you're not supposed to panic if you're choking.
Maxwell has this solemn look on her face
He's like,
and is watching it happen.
he falls on the floor and he's still choking. Then he starts
He
moving.
falls on the floor, still is choking. She waits until he
So
stops
he's
moving, and she picks up the
up the
phone,
gun.
and in a complete monotone
My husband is
voice,
choking.
says, "My husband is choking. Please send an ambulance."
Mm.
And then the scene ended, and my mom and I
I was like,
cheered.
oh.
I
We're like,
was like,
oh,
"Oh my
he's
god!"
dead. Yes, but I mean, there was one time we were toxic. Okay, we've been toxic a lot in our lives, but like, this is weird. Like,
Like,
well,
I was
you
literally
deserved
just
it.
like I was literally like, like, I
I'm not
don't know
trying
if
to be
this is more
toxic, but you
so
deserved
for
it.
Maxwell or Betty, but I was like, "You go, Queen!
Mm.
Yes, you go!"
And nature just karma's a bitch. It just
I,
happened,
I
you
wrote, I
know.
wrote, Maxwell's a queen.
It
Um,
just happened. Like he choked. I mean,
and
who am
then
I to
literally
intervene?
the next scene we get is Olivia and Sunny talking about it, and we find out Roger died.
Yeah, he did.
I was like, "Oh my god, he actually
He just
died."
choked. Yeah. He.
You told me
What a way
karma
to go
is a
out.
bitch, which is correct. Karma is a bitch.
Yeah.
Um,
I was
I
like,
was like,
damn, bro,
"Oh
you
my
just
god,
choked.
he's actually dead."
Mm.
And at that point I was like, she was in an abusive marriage for 15 years. Her husband of 7 years, who she thought was perfect, had dark secrets and basically uh belittled her and spewed some really horrible shit at her the past few days and is now dead. I was like,
Yeah.
somebody please get this wonderful woman an actually good guy.
Yes, please. I'm
Please.
begging. This isn't a request.
This is a
This is a
need.
demand.
And if you need a suggestion, we have one.
He won't tell you that until we write it. Sorry.
We
It's in
won't,
the.
yeah,
It's
you
in
won't
the.
know. But
Sorry,
I
can't tell
feel
you
like you
everything.
guys will be able to figure it out.
You
Like,
know us by now. We've
think
been doing this
about
for a
it.
year. You
You'll
know what
think
we
about
say.
it. You'll know. But yeah, so Maxwell needs a actually good man. Like,
Yes.
please.
He's not gonna be have secrets.
And I'm
Okay,
just
so Olivia
yeah.
and Sun
Olivia and
talking
Sunny having a
in his
crazy,
office. I believe his office. Yeah, they're in his office, and he's like,
and Crazy's
she
like,
said
you,
like, what do you don't want to know what I think?
yeah, you don't want to know what I
And he's
think.
like, I don't know. He's worried. He's like, I don't know if
He's
it's like
worried,
the
like,
timing
he is
or is it
worried about
divine
yeah,
intervention.
timing or possibly divine intervention, which honestly, it probably
He's like,
is. I'm
he's
going
like,
with
well,
divine intervention.
we're like, sorry, I gotta go. He
Um,
died. Mm.
yeah. And Olivia's like, it's a tragedy.
Whatever it is, it's a tragedy all around.
It certainly is, though, because they had what we thought they thought was like this beautiful marriage for 7 years, and it ended like this.
Yeah, it just
Um,
ended. He dead.
yeah. Um,
He's dead.
they go back to Maine, and
hmm
or actually no, they're back at Velasco and
They come
Shirley
back.
are back at this point, and they're having a conversation, and Shirley's just like, I just wanted to make sure you're okay, and Velasco. But I thought this part was sweet.
It's a very sweet friendship line.
He got her a little
Little
servant
badge.
merit
Service.
badge.
I went by the scout store on my way here. You know, like,
Yeah, and gives her a merit badge and says, I couldn't have done this without you. And Shirley says, yeah, you could have. You just wouldn't. And I'm like, oh, they're getting closer. I like it.
the friends.
And then Olivia and Velasco have a conversation, and Olivia says, you unburdened yourself, Velasco. And eventually that is going to feel really good. Because unfortunately,
Really.
like the recording is basically like, yeah, Chili's got a lot of shit in his life.
Yeah, he's admitted to killing. Because at first they thought it was gonna be questionable to use, but like he's admitted in two different because they can't use it in Maine.
He admitted to 2 other different murders.
In different states. Because in Maine
Yeah.
you can't record somebody without their permission, so they would have been thrown out in Maine. But everywhere else, it's good. So
And Velasco's like, are we good? And Olivia's like, we're good. And I was like, yay, they're good again.
you were finally good.
Finally.
Yes.
And then we get to the last scene of the episode.
Yeah.
And Olivia's like, so they're talking about her husband, and Olivia's like, so you found him? Olivia, so what happened? And Lorraine is like, I found him
He was choking. He was too late.
before choking. So she like, yeah, and then she's like, I loved him, despite everything.
Mhm.
And then she's like, do you believe me? And Olivia says, whether I do or not, there's no evidence otherwise. And Maxwell continues and says, it's just one of our stalemates.
Mhm.
And then
This line.
I fucking love that they did this.
And
Olivia
they brought it back.
looks at Maxwell and says, justice may be blind, Lorraine, but it's not entirely heartless.
Heartless. Sorry, we put the wrong word.
It's heartbreak. We said heart. Yeah, it's heartless, not entirely heartless. And then Olivia looks right at Maxwell and says, however, and this is like Olivia goes to her like
word
captain
for
mode.
word. Yeah, word for word, use the same
How
line
yeah, the same
from the
line.
steps. It's from the steps we cannot take.
Yeah, and the show writer said they specifically went back to watch the episode to make sure that they would have it word for word.
Because it's like exactly parallel almost.
Yeah.
Like in this scene.
Literally, they're even like sitting at a picnic table again
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Talking.
like pretty parallel to the scene.
And it says, however, you will see just how heartless I can be if this ever comes back to haunt me.
Yeah, so,
And you can see Maxwell, like, she's getting a little emotional and she's like,
yeah.
she knows Olivia is right.
Hmm.
It's why she told her that in the first place.
Yeah.
But also, like, I can only imagine, like, Maxwell shocking me, like,
She remembered I said it.
she
And that's kind of
remembered
got
it
to.
and just told it to me word for word.
Hmm.
And I was like, Olivia sent that message right back. But then my other point
Mhm.
was, I need these two to make up,
Hmm.
please.
Yeah,
Like, they're
'cause they have fun little friendship.
they're powerful women separately. Can you imagine how much power it would be if they were not like at a stalemate all the time? It'd be amazing.
Hmm.
All right,
And that's Lothian.
that's the end.
This is a 5 out of 5 stars.
I definitely give this a 5 out of 5.
So good. I love this episode.
Betty
This is
Buckley is a
We love
fucking
you so much, Becky.
queen. Look, if you're listening, you are absolutely incredible in this episode.
Mhm.
It felt like it was a privilege to watch it. Like, it felt like
It was. We were so excited about it, and then we
yeah,
were
we
real
were
excited about you.
it was something like that. It felt like an honor to watch. It was so
Mhm.
amazing. It was so
Like,
good.
even though this episode was a week ago, people are still talking about how good it was. Like, this is a great episode. Like, I
Like,
saw people on
I
Instagram. I mean,
absolutely loved. I scroll on Twitter when I'm watching, and I absolutely
I
loved
can't do it, but I do
all
it on,
of the praise.
yeah, so much
Betty
praise for
Buckley
this
was
episode.
getting praise everywhere. It was
Mm.
so good.
Okay. Tonight's episode is called Debatable.
How fitting.
It's
Because the
about a
girl
girl
is on the speech
on the
debate team.
debate team. And then
And apparently it says that she gets assaulted on a field trip and then she lights a bus on fire.
yeah, and they were like, oh,
Because
to
in the
kind of figure
promo,
out if she
like,
was
we
like,
see her, like, the girl open up her door and she's standing there and there's 3 guys standing there and one of them is holding a red Solo cup. And just context, like, you don't even need, like, any
yeah,
context alone. Just from
from
that
you
scene,
know,
you know,
you
those guys,
be
9 out
real
of
bad.
99% probably did something to her, and they're probably drunk because of the red Solo cup.
Yeah, and then they kind of just like,
Also,
whatever
why
happens.
is a girl who was on a speech debate team, like, proud, great student, set a bus on fire? If, like,
Exactly. Like,
nothing
she used
did
to have
unless
good reason.
something horrible happened to her.
Yeah, hold on, let me check real quick.
Alright, I need to go take a shower, and then
Oh,
we can finish organized crime.
okay. So I'm making sure we didn't miss anything. Yeah, they're
Because
trying
I
to figure out why she set the bus on fire, and that's kind of like,
try to be productive.
yeah. We're almost, okay, organized crime's not gonna take us long, because literally it's kind of boring. We're gonna speed through organized crime real fast. It was kind of boring, I don't know. It wasn't their greatest,
I mean,
besides Bernie.
the one
was kinda meh.
upside to the
Bernie.
organized crime was Bernie. That was it.
Yeah, I
Bernie
said it was
there.
pretty meh. Do you want to speed through it first, and then you go take a shower? Because we can do this one fast.
Oh, 'cause I gotta go because my parents get home soon and they need the hot water. So
Okay.
you
Okay.
can upload this part or like start editing this part while
Okay.
I'm
I kind of already have. I'm like putting it in iMovie as soon as it like uploads, so the whole thing has to be exported off. But anyway, what?
I have to find out how fast I can get to New York because the New York City Center just put out a tweet that said, "Want to see our Encore's production of Oliver for free? Consider yourself lucky. We are seeking audience survey volunteers for next Wednesday, May 10th at 7 p.m.
Man,
How fast
a
can I
lot.
get to New York?
Mm, who knows? Anyway,
Oh my god. I thought there was there's another picture that just showed up. I thought there was a cane. It's a sausage on a stick. I
interesting.
mean, he's using it as a cane, but
Interesting.
okay.
Okay, we'll be back.
Wait, before we go, because apparently, possibly, oh my god, I lost my train of thought. Possibly either this promo or like the next promo,
Uncle Kelly.
Kelly's gonna be there. So,
Anyway,
oh, and originally she was only supposed to be there for like 2 episodes. Apparently she's gonna be
yeah,
here for
I think,
4,
yeah, it's both shows. It's
which
supposed
is
to be just.
awesome.
It was supposed. I think it was just supposed to be finale of both, and it
Yeah,
ended
and
up
now
being
she's
the
gonna
two
be on the
before and
penultimates and then the finales because it's like a
yeah,
big crossover thing at the end.
yeah.
Oh, um, I have to go shower, but I'll make this quick because they put out the summaries for the finales and stuff for the
Yeah, they're
shows. And
come on.
oh boy, because
Oh boy.
Elliot and Olivia get benched.
Oh boy.
Oh
I would think
boy.
it must be real bad for Olivia to get benched.
Like
Whatever they
Olivia
do,
is a
this is
freaking
bad.
captain and she's
Whatever
getting
she did,
benched. It's gotta be
yeah,
bad. And both
whatever
of
she
us
did,
are like, please wait, let wake her the fuck up.
exactly. Like, Olivia, this is it.
And then the other part that scared us, because I literally sent this to Sharon and I didn't know
You
what
were
she
like,
was
I was
doing.
doing something. You were
Get
like,
back here.
Karen, what was
We
I
gotta
doing?
talk about this. There's I forget. It
That's
says
one of
that
them. It might be the
Jet
last one.
tries to hack the dark web and it
Mm,
backfires, putting her squad in danger. So here, we're gonna start with this. 1, Jet isn't perfect, but she rarely ever messes up. But even if she does, it's never as big as this,
yeah.
as her putting her
Everyone
entire
in danger.
team in danger. 2, hacking is her thing.
Yeah.
This is going to take a huge toll on her, and I'm not ready for it because I
Yeah.
have a feeling she's going to be like,
Because we kind of played with it.
it's going to be like,
gotten to feel it.
be
And
like, she's probably going to be like very defiant. Be like, no, I never mess up. This is what I do for a job. How could I have messed up? And she's going to be very upset about it.
because we've
3,
been writing unconditional. Oh, you can make your third point. Then we'll say this one unconditional.
the other thing that I'm concerned about, because it says that it puts the entire team in danger, is, are people gonna get mad at her?
I'm like, please
Like,
don't.
is
She's our
like,
baby.
like, is Belle gonna get mad at her, or is any of the other squad gonna get mad at her? What? Like, I can't take
Can't do it.
anybody getting mad at her. I want them to be more like supportive. It's okay, you can fix it, but I have a feeling it's not gonna
It may
be.
not be good.
And
Why are you screaming?
because we're all posted
Oh,
shit.
yeah, you're right. You're right. I forgot. I was like, so you said, why are you screaming? Then I saw it and said, oh, that's why you're screaming.
Roll posted more stuff. Anyway,
Blah, blah,
so the
blah.
question
And then I
is
was like,
now is
yeah.
what happens and how does she mess up? Like
Well,
what?
we can only hope we weren't writing unconditionally. That's like the real fear I have. If I was correct,
And my other thing is, will it be found out later that like it didn't work, or is it gonna be found out in time, and then Jet is gonna be like, no, trying to fix it, and yeah.
Also, I was gonna say, we kind of like we started unconditionally. We took like one thing, which everyone knows by now, was like, let's write that story. But then like we've been sprinkling in stuff that we've learned since then.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do with that. We do have an idea for that, we haven't done it yet, but because it's not till probably chapter 4 or 5. But we will be back later.
Yeah,
because,
I gotta go shower and I'm gonna go put my Jet shirt on and then we can keep going because
then we will finish.
But then I remembered I had to be productive and do homework. So we're literally gonna have to rush through it, and then I gotta
Run
type
speed
all
run. But it's very easy to speed run through Runners Commons. Very boring. It's one of the low totem pole ones on the list of episodes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
we'll be back. Okay, bye.
See you guys in a bit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, we are back. Runners Commons. We got a speed run because Kelly has to do grown up things before the show starts.
I have master's degree homework to do, people, and I need to get it done.
Yes. Okay.
Because I have been not so great lately and procrastinated and was sad, and now everything is due tomorrow at 11:59. So
Okay. We're a speed run. What's time? It's called Diplomat.
diplomatic solution.
So the first scene is Elliot's getting ready to go to work, and he's making his mom some tea because she's back and staying with him.
And
yeah,
yeah.
the fridge, keep your
And
phone.
then here's what we said. We may not like the guy, but he's a good son.
So that's all the points he gets. And
That's what he gets. He gets points for being a good son.
about it.
That's it.
So he's like, keep your phone close, and she's like, then she says, I keep my phone close to call all my friends for the party I'm having. And I was like,
oh, sorry, pause. My professor just said I got my first half of that 7th assignment said it looked good. So yay, that means I'm good. Okay, anyway. Yeah. And she's like, and when he said that he's leaving, she's like, oh, what am I going to do? All sad and alone.
oh,
Bernie's like, sarcasm is the best.
funny.
Because here's the thing, when she when she's not like in one of her like episodes, she is like, in a standard state, and it can be pretty funny. And then so he offered to make us mom chamomile tea, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna pick you up. We're gonna have lunch together. And I was like, okay, stop it. Stop making me feel
I'm not trying to feel pity.
happy, fluffy things about that. But no, it was sweet that Elliot was like, on his lunch break, he's gonna have lunch with his mom.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'll keep my phone close to call all my friends to the party I'm having. That's funny. And then Elliot leaves and he goes to work. And he sees Ayana talking to a guy in her office, and he looks at Jet, Jamie, and Bobby, who are all like watching. And he's like, what's going on? And then Jet is like, guy that's not Thurman, head of counterintelligence.
And the big boys showed up, and like, oh.
And I literally just put, Angie looks pretty, because they were wearing like a sweater, like a sort of like golden brown details, and it looked pretty. You know us. We will always comment on Jet's outfits. So after the conversation, the Yana's like, guys, we got a case. Sort of. And they open up this file, and they talk about how this woman's, her name is Jaya Lagari, and she is an ambassador to India.
Yep.
And Jet immediately goes, I read about her. Big ambitions back home. And my first thought was, of course Jet has read about her. Like, ma'am had to do her research. Also just, would read about other powerful women. Yeah. And then Reyes brings up ChatGPT, which was funny because like that's been all the rage lately, and now it's on the show. Like,
it's like the software we use to turn our papers in that tells you if you plagiarized or not. It can
and he said had something to do with her speech. And so the bureau is being assigned to take her to the embassy.
And can I become her security?
Because basically this whole like meeting of why she's there is about whether or not India is supporting Russia.
Yeah, 'cause that's a real life
The
problem.
whole like Russia and Ukraine thing that's going on in the world still.
Mhm.
And Ayana's like, I would go, but I can't. She has a court date for Jack's custody hearing.
I was like,
I was like,
no, 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 no.
I forgot that was a thing, and now I'm sad
Really,
again.
if I can put that out of my memory, I want to be sad.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to remember that, but that's a thing. God, she better get some time with her kid, or I'm gonna riot.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I will never forget her reading that letter, and she stopped right when Denise said that she took Jack
yeah, man, but what a time that was. That was
because
the end
she
of
loved
last
that
season.
kid.
That was a whole year ago. God.
That's fucking insane. It's that long.
It
Oh,
was finale for us. And we watched a final call at Friendly's Bar, and then we watched that.
shut up. No. Oh, okay. Anyway, so there's that. So they have Elliot and the Yannins going to take care of this situation.
Yeah.
And they originally have like this car like set up
Yeah.
for her to go with like her assistant and everything else. And Elliot is like, nope, she's riding in my car.
For some
And
reason,
Jamie is like,
why?
why? And Elliot gives him a look, his usual like look
Don't-
that says, do not question me. Don't ask questions. And then Jamie was like, okay. And then that was when I was like, that was when we got the Jet Matrix looking outfit with the long coat and everything. And I was like, oh my goodness, everyone is acting and looking so official. Like the guys are in like suit jackets and ties. Oh, I liked it. And then so Elliot is riding in the car with this woman, and she was like asking for water.
Okay. He's like, we don't have any. I
I
would
don't
have
have
told you needed any.
No one told me. I'm just here to protect you as security.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Elliot sees this guy walking down the street with a hood. He has like this remote in his hand. He pushes a button, and boom, car explodes.
I was like, bro, this is gonna happen in the first 10 minutes of the show. You like,
Yeah, and it's the car that's in front of them.
yeah. And the promo, it did like a weird camera angle thing. It looked like it was their car. Like,
Yeah.
it was weird, but it was kind of
And then and then you put Elliot was right to tell her to ride with him, and then I put underneath. You just said he was right. What is happening?
some kind of way. He just knew. He was just like,
I
just
mean,
knew some kind of
it's
way.
probably because like, him car trips,
Yeah.
car bombs.
Got PTSD from car
thing.
bombs. They should have done something more with that, I think. They kind of just Lily was just like, yeah, whatever.
And then they have
It just moved
Jet.
on.
Like the
instead
rest of the
being
squad jumps right into action. Jet's calling for an ambulance. Jamie is keeping the madam in a car, but he was like getting really like he was like pushing her back in the car. He's like, madam, you need to stay in the car. And Reyes
just
is
want to check on her assistant. He was like, no.
no. And then Reyes takes out his gun and starts to like look
They're
for the
looking around.
Yeah. in the car. And then Jet has a walkie-talkie, and I was like, yep, Reyes has a suit and tie. They all look good. And then Jet goes to talk to the bomb investigation people, and I'm like, of course she freaking knows about bombs. This girl knows about literally everything.
This tech, she knows it.
Yeah. Which is like, why? Which is like, again, what the hell? How does she mess up?
Yeah.
Which
Mhm.
honestly, if they show it in a promo, then it means I'm not gonna be okay for a week.
Yeah, we'll be
Please,
doing
I need
some
that
writing.
to like just be an episode thing so I can have peace.
It won't be unwell for like a week.
All right, what's he doing? Joe is like, we're looking for a missing hooded dude. Oh, Jet.
Like,
And then the bomb dude was like, oh yeah, she's like looking at the like the freeway above and talking to the bomb dude, and the bomb dude, the guy, somebody mentions sewer.
mhm.
And then this is what's hilarious to me.
It's so funny.
She's like, hey guys. And then Jamie and Bobby look right at her, and then they transition to Jamie and Bobby in the sewer. And Jamie's like, this is not the OT I was talking about. So I have no idea how Jet got them to go in the
She
sewer,
convinced them to go do
but the
something
fact
fucking-
that her
They did
first
it.
thought was like,
You two are going.
I'm gonna
You
send
two.
them.
They're
I'm
going.
not
She
gonna
can
go.
ruin
I'm
her
gonna
nice
send
coat.
them.
Girl. She
Yeah,
can
was
ruin her
very
nice
nice.
coat in the sewer.
Yeah, but they're wearing suits and
And this is Jet. She was probably bullied them into doing it as a joke.
yeah, I
And
just
they were
find it
like,
hysterical
fine.
that it's like she literally the guy is like, oh yeah, it's probably like the things connect to the sewer, and Jet's first thought was,
You
I'm
two.
gonna get Reyes and
I gotta
Wheel
go.
into it. Like,
See y'all later. And you're like,
it's so funny, but
it's hilarious.
it's just literally
This is
like,
why the show should be a comedy. We told them organized crime should
like,
be a
you
comedy.
go, like Jet, you go. Okay. Like
He was like dominated them and said, I do remember this. And they're like, "Oh,
also the fact that um Jet has, even though Jet is the youngest of the three, Jet
yeah."
has seniority
She's been there
over the two of
longer.
them because she's been longer.
Since
They're
the
longer. But she's
beginning.
telling people she's like kind of technically like able to be like, hey, you guys are gonna go to the sewer and I'm gonna stay up here.
Mhm.
And then they're looking around the sewers and all of a sudden they have a whole bunch of lasers pointed at them.
And they're like, oh shit.
I'm like, what is happening?
Mm-hmm.
And then we come back from a commercial break. And this
Mm-hmm.
guy walks out of the shadows and he's like, you may be the police, but down here I'm the sheriff. And I'm like,
And I was like, oh, it was a wild time down in the sewer.
they're getting cornered by a sewer gang.
The sewer.
But
What
it's
is
not a
that?
sewer gang. It turns out there's a whole community of homeless people living down there.
Yeah.
And the guy, like the lead guy, is like, you guys should be targeting the IRS. And then
Yeah.
he's like, they're basically the reason why I'm down here.
Yeah. They do take your house and everything away from you.
And you could see the guys like looking around and like
Like,
there's people
what
like
do we
passing by, and Jamie is like full on baffled by how many people are down there.
Yeah, there's like 35. Well, he says this in a second, so there's like 35.
They
Well,
either
including him
said,
is 36.
yeah, the guy said either that he had been down there for either like possibly 40, we didn't know if he said 45 or 4 to 5 years. The captions weren't working.
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to anything at this moment. I was like, oh,
And then
there's my
we
DoorDash. Our Uber Eats, my DoorDash is here. Anyway, sorry.
go
My
get
aunt
your
will get it. It's fine.
go
My
get your
aunt is here. She'll get it. It's fine.
okay.
I
Oh,
think.
the transition to Elliot talking to the
Yes, my guy. I think
guy.
my mom got it. I can see out the window.
Daya is like talking. Elliot said something. I forget what he says before it, and he said, "Would it help if I said please?" And I was like, "No, no, I don't care."
I think she was trying to leave, like
yeah.
the lady. And she tried to go do something. He was like, no. And she was
And
like,
he's like, "Would it help if I said please? Like, please stay?" No,
Elliot was like,
because they're talking to the assistant, and then the assistant was like, "Oh my god, I ordered that car for you. I was like, you were supposed to be in the car with
yeah,
me." He's
yeah,
like
you really got it.
sad and panicking and crying because they're like best friends.
Mhm.
And then then Elliot gets a phone call and he leaves and he gets a phone call saying from Bernie saying she's lost.
Yeah.
Which
Like,
for those of
no.
you who aren't aware can sometimes be a common occurrence for people in older age who are starting to possibly get dementia or Alzheimer's.
Yeah, Mitch also has bipolar. She has a lot of big ones, so she's getting
You know that
lost.
Bernie has bipolar disorder, but I have a feeling she's starting to get
Yeah.
dementia possibly as well.
Yeah.
I could be
Yeah, I
wrong.
think it was kind of.
She still
I
has a
think maybe also, but I feel like Elliot was very specific on like saying a list of things to her
yeah. He's like
and like
making
stuff like that.
yeah, I like
Making
that.
sure
Like
she knew what she needed to
knows
do,
everything that's happening.
making her aware of everything he's planning to do, making
Because
sure she knew
no,
everything.
actually, originally I think he called to be like, "Hey, mom, I'm not gonna be able to come to
Yeah.
lunch." And then
Yeah.
Bernie, like, Elliot, I
Might
don't
have
know.
said
I am.
where I am. And he was like, oh, okay.
So he sends an officer to get her. And then we transition to Jet showing up at the apartment. And the guys called her and they're like, "Are you at your station?" And Jet was like, "No, I'm at Stabler's apartment. He asked me to check on his he asked me to stay with his mother." Um, and here's the thing, Bernie literally just went on a walk. She got lost. Like,
Yeah.
so it can happen with people with dementia. Like, they literally just go on a walk, familiar places. Then an episode starts and they don't remember where they are and they get lost.
Mm.
Here's the thing on that. Two things. A, the fact that Elliot's first thought to call anybody to stay with his mom was Jet makes me like happy. Also, it's like I feel like Jet would be really good with Bernie. They didn't give us like a whole lot of the interaction of her, like, taking care of her. She was kind of just, sitting there to make sure that Bernie didn't try to leave again, or being there in case she did get into an episode. I mean, he maybe probably would have called Ayana, but like, Ayana was busy with her own stuff, so he went to chat. And then Jamie was like, "Oh, what? You can't work your you can't work your magic." And then Jet was like, "For magic to work, you need energy and intent, and this has very little of either." Because she's looking at this,
We wanted to identify that guy, and there's like no evidence or
and
like
there's
no.
nothing. Like, I got nothing. And then so Jet pulls up her laptop and is like trying to look into the picture, and like Bernie walks into the room and is like looking over Jet's shoulder, watching her do her work. And then Jet is on speakerphone with the guys, and she's like, "Oh, I think I got something. It looks like playing cards." And then Bernie is like, "Nope, that's a pack of Russian cigarettes. Russian." And keep in mind, the three Yunins are all listening to like Bernie talking at this point. And Bernie's like, "My boyfriend had him when he was stationed in Korea." And she went into this really nice, like, romantic story thing. And then she literally just walks away. Then Jet, like, turns her head and she opens her mouth to say something. And then, like, closes her mouth and, like, turns back at her work and is like, I am convinced Jet was, like, blown away in that moment. Oh my god, who is this amazing woman? Also, the fact that Ansley put the promo pic of her and Ellen, them and Ellen on their Instagram and was like, "I still can't believe this photo is real." And it's like, yeah. Oh, and here is
I gotta eat, so I will.
all right, hold
We'll
on,
come
I
back.
gotta
I
say
should.
one more thing.
Yeah.
We actually have a something in common with EOS, and that doesn't happen a lot, but we do. But we are insistent that Bernie would adopt Jet as her sixth grandchild.
I don't know. We'll be back shortly. Once again.
All right.
Okay. Well, Callie will be back in a minute. It's just me. So, okay, so I lost my spot. Okay, 3 4. Wrong spot. Okay, so right now, after JB and Bobby out of the sewer, and Bobby's pants are really like soaked, like unwearably soaked. And then he says, "This doesn't seem right to be wearing another man's pants." And he says, "Well, my apartment was on the way. I had to change from the New York sewer system." And like Jamie's taller than Bobby, so like he had his pants rolled up. So like, because they didn't fit. But it's pretty funny, like to see him wearing Jamie's pants because they had to. So they go do some investigating and they find out this guy, who is Mr. Patel, is dead. He was supposed to be the driver, for some kind of reason he called out, so he wasn't the driver. So then they're talking. So then the group is talking, and they were like, "How'd you figure that out?" And Jet says, "I didn't. Your mom did." Calories. Okay,
I'm here. Sorry.
okay. I'm at when Jet's telling them about I didn't, your mom did. She also said she didn't need a babysitter.
She's
That's fun.
basically like trying to tell Elliot, your mom does not want anybody else. Like, your mom does not need a babysitter. Like, she made that clear. But also, it makes me think that they got close during that
Yeah.
like 30 minutes that she was there,
hmm
which I love. Did you pass the part where Bobby had to borrow Jamie's pants?
I just said it, but you can say it again because you love this.
I just find it funny because you can
It's so
absolutely
funny.
like you could tell like that Reyes is uncomfortable because A, the pants are too big because Jamie's here and
Yeah, yeah.
so
He's
you could
tall.
see him had to roll up the pants and he's like walking uncomfortably because it's like I just don't feel like myself and Jamie is basically like stop complaining like
Yeah.
which is funny. They are so funny to me.
hmm
All right, and then after they get the Russian cigarette part,
They go
Reyes is
find
like,
it.
"Oh, I have the contact." And Yana's like, "Okay, Jamie can go with you," and then he's like, "No, this is something I need to do alone." So he
hmm
goes. Um, Elliot talks to Daya, and she's like, "We eliminated the angry boyfriends. Like, that threat is gone." And Elliot is like, "You're not taking this seriously."
Yeah.
And then she's like, she looks at her security guard in the camera transitions and um she's like, I can't, like, if I were to name names it would cause like issues or something. And then the security guard walks in the room and is like, what are you still doing here? And Elliot immediately stands up and chokes the dude because
hmm
of course he does. He's like, I was ordered to protect the ambassador. I'm not going anywhere. And then he's like, okay, I'm leaving, but like,
Yeah.
all right,
Cause
and then we transition to Reyes at a church,
yeah.
and he's talking to the guy that's there, and the guy knows him and his family, and he's like, Tammy and the kids are good. Again,
Mm.
damn the show for taking out the scene where we meet his kids because all we know is he had kids. We don't know anything about them.
You know, there is two boys and a girl, and one of
And
them
we
is Bobby
don't,
Jr.
yeah, that's it. That's it. Like,
One of them is.
and the guy at one point makes a point that like, oh, so you come here looking for my help, but you can't come to meetings.
Yeah. Or your program. We were like,
Yeah, your program. And that is a very vital piece of information because they just admitted that Bobby goes to AA.
mm-hmm.
Um, and I made the possible connection being that um when he was in his horrible foster home, um, and he's was talking to a kid, he's like, look, okay, I know about the burns and the drugs, the burns and the fighting and the alcohol. So my theory is like if he was given like alcohol at like 12, 13,
Mm-hmm.
possibly got addicted once he got older.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why he went to
Yeah.
goes to AA. I hope they dig more into that and they don't just leave it at that because that's pretty important. And I
Mm-hmm.
know they've done like other like blank anonymous things before because Amanda went to Gamblers Anonymous. Kragan
Mm-hmm.
was in a
Those
program.
alcohol.
Okay. Um, Oh yeah, they were talking about the potato chip casserole debate, and the
I
guy's
was
like,
like,
"You come here for business, but you don't have time for a meeting or your program."
I was
And the
like,
director there knows who sells the cigarettes, so
Mm.
Reyes's visit was good. And they go back. He goes back to the bureau. He gives him the info. Jet looks up the dude with like some cross-referencing whatever. And Elliot was like, last known, and Jet was like, yep. And then they leave.
Mhm.
Um, Jamie unlocks a lock with a rag at this house that they're going to. And Yana and Elliot find the guy in his kitchen cooking. And according to Danielle, he was actually cooking something and it smelled really good. Uh, and then you could see the guy has a gun taped under his table and he's slowly reaching for it. And Elliot reaches him first and puts the gun to his neck. And it's like, yeah, you're coming with us. So they bring her down to the interrogation room. And Ayana's like, your rap sheet reads like Tolstoy. And the guy was like, thank you. Because Tolstoy is known for having incredibly long books. And the guy's like, thank you. And the guy says, that wasn't Ayana says, that wasn't a compliment. It's long and repetitive. And then we go back, and I'm like, and Elliot's getting threatened again by, the security guard and just in general, because of course. So they set up a sting to talk to the guy who's like behind all this. They got Jamie and Wheelan in one car, Ayana and Elliot in the other car, and Jet is like behind this rock with a camera taking all the pictures, which I loved. I thought that was cool. Um,
She has cute little rings on her fingers, like a bunch of them.
and
When
she
she's like turning.
she has her headphone
Mm.
in her ear again.
Mm.
Yes, I love her rings. So Leland is the guy doing it. He's arrested, and we find out he's selling semiconductors used in missiles and other weapons
Yeah,
to the Indian ambassador team. And they find out it was like it was the security guard, which I had a feeling. They arrest him. And Daya's like, oh, before you take me to the airport, I need to get something. She leaves. She comes back with this silver case. And the camera, like, literally, just like, she's like, I'm here. And the camera stops on it. It's like, it's obviously in there.
what she was seeing.
And then Elliot and Daya have a conversation at the airport. Daya admits she has them.
Yeah.
She was bringing them back home. And
Yeah.
Elliot somehow convinces her to turn them in.
Yeah.
But when he goes to tell the
I think
counter,
because she couldn't get diplomatic immunity or something, like it would have
Yeah.
expired or something. So she was like, you can jail or you can turn me back.
yeah, which is why the security guard didn't think he was going to get arrested at first.
Yeah, diplomatic immunity. But no, if you apparently not.
Not this time. They got like warrants and all that. So Elliot talks to the counterintelligence dude, and the counterintelligence dude is like, "How did you get it?" And she's
He's
like, she said he lied for her and said, oh, she said the security guard put them in there. She gave him, and then Jamie and Reyes are like, why did you just let her go? Like, what about repercussions? And Elliot's like, when she goes back home empty-handed, it's gonna be bad enough. And it's like, yeah. And then he goes home, and his mom is sitting outside.
Yeah, she's looking at the stars, and there's a shooting star that goes by.
And she said she's making a wish. And Elliot like looks at her and takes her hand, and he looks at her and she says, I got the name of two really nice homes for you. And Bernie's like, oh, okay.
She has to have a walking path because she wanted to walk.
Yeah, she wants on his legs as long as they have walking paths.
Yeah,
And
because it's
Jamie's like,
enclosed. She
"I'm
won't
gonna
go.
go look at them." And Bernie makes a comment of like, what if I don't like them? And Elliot's like, if you don't like them, then we'll go look at them more. And I'm like, okay. You get good points for being a good son. Like,
Yeah.
and Elliot says, I just want you taken care of. Bernie says, I just want you to be happy. All I've ever wanted for you.
Yeah, I think
All
we
I've
just wrote
ever
the same line twice. I think you started the line that I like. We
No,
might
I
have
think
written the same line.
two lines.
Are they separate ones? Are they
Yeah,
different lines?
separate.
Okay,
It's
then.
just
So
like a
then,
pause, and they're both like smiling at each other.
mm,
Um, and Bernie says, all I've ever wanted was for you to be happy. That's my only wish.
and then it ends.
And ends. I'm like, aw.
Mm,
I give this 3.5.
3.
Wasn't like great. I give it the half because Bernie was there.
Burn.
And
Okay, fine.
Bernie,
I'll take
yeah,
it.
Bernie gives it the bump. All right,
Yeah, the
that's
rest of it was.
I don't remember what's happening in the promo. And
It was
we
something. No, it's happening in like 3 hours. It's called Pareto Principle. I don't know what that
need to
means.
get this posted.
Okay, we have like 10 minutes. It was they find some. This woman finds some body in the washer.
Or she finds a head in a washing
Her
machine.
head in the washer. And then the guy they think they did it was in prison, so he couldn't have done it. But there's a lot of questions, and that's
Yeah.
it. And it's gonna happen. We have to like 10 minutes. Like it starts. Show start in 10 minutes.
All
So
right, so
that is all.
thanks for listening.
Yeah,
We're gonna go
thanks for
post
listening.
this,
Come on. Yeah, I'm
and
gonna go
be
export
back
this.
next time.
We'll be back. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.